Jerry woke up one morning and heard a very funny noise. It sounded like somebody blowing his nose, but what a big blow it was. Jerry hopped out of bed and looked out of the window to the park in front of his house. What do you think was there? A great big grey elephant with his trunk up in the air. It was the elephant making a big noise. Well, what would you have done? Jerry was so excited. He shouted for his mother and daddy to come and see. They watched the elephant while his daddy told Jerry all about the big circus that was coming to the park that day. It was lovely for Jerry. All day he watched the circus come and the cages with the lions and tigers and all the lovely horses and lots of peoples. And next day, mother took him to see the circus. Inside the enormous tent were big bright lights, although the sun shone outside. First, the band played very loud, and in came the ringmaster, a very important man in a red coat and a black top hat. Then come the clowns, and Jerry loved them all. The tall, thin one with great big feet, the little teeny one with bright orange hair, and most of all he loved Mr. Brown. The one is the baggy check pants. He was the funniest of them all in his special automobile that kept falling to bits, and when it did, Mr. Brown laughed and laughed. Jerry liked the sailors who played the trumpet, the lion and tigers, and the man on the high wire. The elephants danced, and the Shetland ponies did tricks, and everybody had a wonderful time. Then it was time to go home. Before he went to bed, Jerry told his daddy all about the circus and said thank you very much to his mother for taking him. In the morning, the circus was still there, so after breakfast, Jerry sat by his bedroom window and had a lovely view of all the circus people doing their work. Everybody was very busy. Soon Jerry saw Mr. Brown come out of his conveyance, sit on the steps, and start to eat his breakfast. He didn't look quite the same without his funny painted face, but Jerry knew him by his baggy check pants. He was excited and he called out, "Hello, Mr. Brown," and waved, and Mr. Brown waved back and said, "Come and sit on my steps if you like, but watch how you cross the road." So down the stairs Jerry went, and mother took him over the road and said good morning to Mr. Brown, and said they had seen him the day before. Mr. Brown smiled and said he would take Jerry back at lunchtime. So after he finished his breakfast, Mr. Brown took Jerry by the hand and they went to see the animals. It was fun. Mr. Brown knew them all, and all the animals knew Mr. Brown. There was circus children too, and they came running to Mr. Brown, shouting, "Hello, Lollipop Brown, how are you today?" That's funny, thought Jerry, and he was just going to ask why when Mr. Brown reached into the big pocket of the baggy check pants and brought out a handful of lollipops and gave one each to all the children. Jerry got a yellow one. Was not that a lovely surprise? Soon Mr. Brown took Jerry home because it was time for Mr. Brown to go paint his funny face on before the circus started again. Off he went with a laugh and a wave across to his caravan. Next day, all the caravans had gone when Jerry woke up, but he will never forget his friend Mr. Lollipop Brown.